let's do it.
Shall I?
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you for attending this Data Plus Women presentation today. Today we are going to go through the Iron-based entries from this year and show you very quickly the tips and tricks that that we could gain from the Iron-based. I'm just trying to get my PowerPoint to share with you. Yeah, do you see my screen?
That's perfect. Yeah, I see your screen and your PowerPoint.
So for people who are new to this event, so Data Plus Women is a community which is powered by Tableau, and we are aimed at promoting women who work in and around data in any way. Please get in touch if you have questions, and please get in touch if you want to be a speaker, because we are always looking for good speakers. I just wanted to specify that a recording of the session will be made available, and we will also take the liberty to send you the relevant links of the material that we will show in this event. So please enjoy the event. So today we are talking about the top 3 Iron-based entries from 2022. I will be presenting actually my findings to Joana, so it will be a very frank discussion between Joana and myself. So let's see what Joana has to say about what I found. Right, do you see my new presentation?
Not yet.
Changed presentations.
I still see your today's agenda slide.
Right, so I'm not sharing the correct one then. Okay. And do you see it now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so a little bit of introduction. So Iron-based is a yearly competition that is organized by Tableau, of course. Anyone can submit a visualization based on the chosen theme of the year, and then the top 3 candidates from the feeder competition go to a live competition during the Tableau conference. The official criteria are things like the analysis of the data set, the storytelling, and also there's a component of the audience score, so people get to actually vote live in Twitter. I also add my personal criteria to the evaluation that I will do later on. I like a lot guided navigation, and also coming from a consultant background, I worry a lot about ease of maintenance. So I like a lot dashboards and analyses that are easy to maintain, and so that they do not require a lot of data prep. So I will introduce to you the 3 finalist entries. So one of the entries was from Kimberly Scott. She presented a tale of 2 countries, let's say, where she studied the difference in literacy rates between Australia and Cambodia. Will Sutton, he presented his story about the youth literacy gap, and he studied what has changed in 20 years, especially for regions of the world that we might consider to be quite backward. And then we have CJ Mays, who also in the same direction as Will has tried to challenge our misconceptions about certain regions of the world as far as education and literacy is concerned. So before giving you the winners, I will go through the entries. Let's go through them in the same order that I presented. So do you see my Tableau workbook now?
No, still seeing your slides, the 3 finalists.
I don't know why I cannot share the correct. All right, do you see it now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so this is the entry from Kimberly Scott, and she has told us a tale of 2 countries. She's a Cambodian Australian, so I like a lot the fact that she has kind of used her heritage to tell a story. I also like the fact that she has used 2 countries to compare, instead of just trying to somehow summarize the world literacy rate data, because I think you cannot do justice to that in one dashboard, and also in 20 minutes, because they get 20 minutes to actually build these visualizations. So I really like that she has chosen well the countries about which she's going to talk. And I love the fact that the effect that she has created by using this little girl who is shining this light between the two countries. It is superb. And of course, she's pointing to the literacy rate in Australia and the literacy rate in Cambodia. And then she talks about, okay, so these are the hard numbers, but what impact does that have? And then we talked about, okay, government expenditure on education. You can see Cambodia lagging much behind Australia. Really cute graph though. It is a very simple graph. She's just used a transparent background to create a very stunning visual, but this is a very simple dual axis graph. So yeah, government expenditure is one thing. What else? And then she talks about what has changed between what is different between the expected years of schooling in Australia and in Cambodia. And you can see, well, actually you expect on average a person to be educated for 20 years, but the reality is 12 or 13. But in Cambodia you expect much less, but the reality is also 4.4 years. So access to education is a problem, quite related to the government expenditure, I guess. And what impact does that have on a nation? So then she writes about kind of key indicators about the well-being of the population, I guess. I think she has had to choose a few indicators, but I think it's fair enough. So the literacy rate, the fertility rate, and the GDP, they all go in the direction that we would assume. The life expectancy, smaller in Cambodia versus Canada versus Australia. Fertility rate higher in Cambodia versus Australia, and GDP per capita, there's a huge difference between the two as well, with Australia being the one that has the higher GDP per capita. So she concludes by saying that she herself may not have had the same life and the same opportunities had she lived in Cambodia and had her parents not migrated to Australia. Very personal message. I really like the graphic. I really like the message, you know, it's very small things that make it very personal and very nice. I like the black background, and with that, the white, the use of the white or bright colors to draw your attention to it. There's also very minimal data prep involved, because you can just see she is just every time, it's so simple. I like it. She's just plotting two numbers every time. It is very simple, but very stunning. So yeah, I love the storytelling. I love the analysis. She has managed to limit herself, which is very good. And yeah, minimal data prep, very guided, because you actually click through it. You don't see all the information in one go, so you're not overwhelmed. So yeah, I love her entry. So this was the entry from Kimberly Scott. And who did I talk about next? Do we have someone who would want to enter, or is everything okay?
Yeah, everything should be okay. Is there something you're saying?
No, I'm just trying to share the correct presentation again. You should be seeing the entry from Will Sutton.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so Will, his entry is, as I said, talking about looking at how the youth literacy gap has changed over the past 20 years. So his is like an animated entry. So let's start. So I think the first page is very stunning. And looking at the second page, so he's saying if 100 people represented everyone aged 15 to 24 in 2022, what was happening? So 10% of the world had access to the internet. So 10 out of these people had access to the internet. We were dealing with huge events, political and otherwise. Yeah, what was popular in the cinema, and what was going on in terms of actually the world's decision and thinking about education. So this was the situation in 2022. And then what was the literacy rate? The literacy rate was 13 over 100 people were illiterate, which means they could not read or write. This is the definition of literacy. So of course they had much reduced opportunities in work in terms of finding work, and of course they struggle to contribute to society because the kind of work you can find is very limited and also very strenuous and does not have a lot of added value. So fast forwarding, he divides the previous graph by gender. So we're still talking about 2022. What was the situation between men and women? So out of, if there were 50 men and the 50 women, 5 men were illiterate and 8 women were illiterate. Sad indeed. And then he goes fast forward in 2012 and sees what was going on 10 years later. So 10 years later, we improved a bit the situation with men and improved a bit the situation with women, but still we have 4 out of 50 men illiterate and 6 out of 50 women who are illiterate in the world. And so what changed? So he's talking about between 2002 and 2012, it does not seem huge, but it is a huge increase if you talk about millions of people. It is millions of people who got literate, which was not possible in 2002 with respect to 2012. So he takes 3 specific examples. Again, I love the fact that he was able to choose stories instead of trying to stay very global and not personalize the stories. So he has now followed one person from rural India, and then he has chosen to show us some indicators of India's economic output during the period that he's talking about, so 2002 to 2012. Then he has chosen to talk about someone from Africa, again, a specific person, so you personalize the presentation, and he has now chosen to show the life expectancy in Zambia. And then he has chosen another person from Nepal, and then here he has chosen to show the number of children, so fertility rate at the end in Nepal, which has gone down between 2002 and 2012, thanks to the fact that they're educating more and more girls. So he's back to the 100 people in the next slide or the next graphic. So this was what was happening in 2012. And now he's talking about 2022. A lot of improvement if you think between 2002 and 2022. So in 20 years, we have improved a lot of things. And still we have some way to go. And how can we improve lives? And this is his last slide or his last piece of analysis. So he's looking at the world, coming back from personal stories. Now he's looking at how you could actually improve things. And yes, when you look at global numbers, you forget that actually the youth illiteracy is concentrated in pockets. So now he's pointing out to countries where he has given you a legend. So, you know, the lighter is more than 2 in 3 youths are illiterate. So yeah, the darker color means it's worse in that country. And then he has chosen again the 3 metrics that he has been always talking about: the GDP, the life expectancy, and the fertility rate between. So for example, if I select a country, yeah, this updates and compares it to the countries with above average literacy rate. So this is an interactive final graphic where he is it's kind of a call for action, as if like, if you want to improve the literacy rate of the world, here's where we should focus. So I really like the fact that the last bit kind of tries to look at a global picture, but still not too bizarre or vague. And yeah, he has still his 100 people on top, and I will show you why. So this is a stunning entry. I like the fact that, again, he has limited it. The last page, I'm not sure how much I would be able to interpret it had I not spent like half an hour looking at it. So it's a bit dense. But the previous pages where we are just talking about 3 people and 3 specific metrics, I think it is very, very understandable. And the secret is Tableau animations. It is very, very, very simple what he has done. So what he has is, so this counter or this parameter is basically 1 to 9. And what he's doing is at each click, he's changing a background picture. So a lot of work he has done already by, you know, preparing the titles, preparing this, men 1 in 12 men, women 1 in 8 women. He has already prepared the background picture. And what it does is that at each click, you have a different picture, and he's also using Tableau animations on a 2-dimensional graph to move these guys. So basically, this is a lot of data prep. So for each step, he has a data set if you want. And with each click, he moves to the next step, and his little humans, they move because of Tableau animations, of course, according to where he has positioned them in his prep. So stunning, very stunning, but yeah, a lot of data prep, and I would not know how to update it for, I don't know, 2032. But overall, a very stunning result by using something like animations and just a 2-dimensional graph. So, well Sutton. And the last entry that I was talking about, let me share with you the correct entry, was by CJ Mays. And it was also along the same lines. Do you see the slides, the Tableau?
We do, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so CJ Mays has prepared a one-page presentation. The first thing that I want to say when I looked at this graph was that there was a lot of text. But anyway, when I started looking at it with some calm, I mean, it took me 15 minutes to understand what he was saying. So basically, he's looking at misconceptions. And we might think that Africa, for example, is like a very underdeveloped part of the world. And he's going to challenge this misconception by actually presenting data, because, of course, without data, you're a person with an opinion. So, for example, he has here, so I started reading it personally from left to right. I think this is how anyone would read a graphic or a dashboard. So he starts with a global indicator. So he's plotting the life expectancy and literacy rate. But this is the world. You see, this is the world. And then, of course, he makes the conclusion, which is very obvious, that with individuals with low level of literacy are likely to live in deprived communities, have low life expectancy, and so on and so forth, which we can say here, there's a huge correlation between the literacy rate of the place you live in and your life expectancy. So then he looks at, okay, Africa is left behind in terms of life expectancy. Is it true? And then he has this, what he calls violent plots. Very, very stunning. They're actually showing by age. Sorry, so yeah, this is the distribution of countries by years of life expectancy, and this is an average. This is why it has a spread. It takes a bit of time to read it, but once you understand what he's plotting, and I think somewhere he has specified that the black curve is how it was maybe 10 years ago, and the blue or the colored, the filled curve is now. Yeah, sorry, previous is from 1997, which is the empty curve, and the filled one is from 2020, so it's quite new. So you can see that indeed Africa is left behind, but not so much. It is catching up very well with other regions of the world where you would expect to be much ahead of Africa. Then the last thing he wants to challenge is Africa has a lower literacy rate than the rest of the world. So now he's not taking Africa as a whole, as a continent, but he's focusing on countries. This is very cute, and basically he has tried to plot grapes, because he has titled his work "Misconceptions from the Grapevine." So each grape is a country in Africa, or others actually, because he wants to compare it to the other countries in the world. And the legend is hard, but let's go through it. So the legend means the purple part of the curve means the current, literacy rate. And if you have a green at the end, it means that it has increased between previous is 1997 and current is 2020 for him. So it has increased between the two dates. And if it is black, so there's a black band at the end of purple, it means it has decreased. And then if you hover over, you see the values. And yeah, so for example, yeah, for this country, okay, previously 81, and now it's almost 87% and so on. So you see that a lot of them actually have green bands. So they have improved a lot. And I think at some point he has also, yeah, I think he has these countries where probably he did not find data, which is good to plot that you don't even have data for this. Right, they don't have a record for literacy rate. And then I find it very hard to actually get the mouse. I already have a critique on the correct place so that you can see the legend. So yeah, it is a stunning plot, and again, it has a lot of data prep involved. So it's basically drawing these almost gauge plots on a chosen place. The same goes with these violin plots. They have a lot of data prep behind them. Very stunning. I like the violin to show what he's showing. I think it is a very appropriate plot. I'm not so sure about the grapes, although they are stunning. I think that they are very complex, and also the color choice. I mean, I find it hard to see when the green and the black band is small. I find it hard to see if it's green or it's black. Maybe you could have chosen something like green or red, or a color that people associate with bad and good. And maybe the purple is not helping as well with the green, or maybe it's just my eyes.
Fatima, can I ask, actually, there's a few countries that have a green dot on top of the name. Is that, what should we read from that?
Yeah, so this is above global average.
Oh, okay. That's what the dot means.
Yeah,
okay.
I find it. So previous, current 90, and I don't know where's the global average. Yeah, here, 82%. Okay. Right. So these guys have actually above average. Yeah, indeed, 86. So
okay,
thank you. Good point. Yeah, this is again a good pointer to guide you if you read it properly, that these countries actually have above average, so above the global average literacy rate. But of course, you find also the countries that are lagging behind and the countries actually without data. So again, very stunning on a map, drawing the grapes, cool, but I find it very intensive on the prep. I would have also liked a bit more guided analysis, because I see all this and I was already like, can I actually read it and understand it? And of course, thankfully, I looked at the videos of the Iron Viz, and where they actually explained what they are trying to, the message that they're trying to give, and I could interpret it, but I find it very hard. So, do you have anything to say, Joana, before I go to the final, like, conclusion?
Are you going to announce the winner in your conclusion?
Well, of course.
No, so I will make a few comments, because this is a surprise to me. I didn't follow, unfortunately, I didn't follow the Iron Viz this year, so I was really excited about your presentation. So I'll just maybe give you my, I guess, opinions about each one of them, and you presented them. Yeah. So I was really, maybe we'll start with CJ. So just the one we just looked at. Yeah. If you have it up. I agree with you. It's like you look at it and it's absolutely stunning. It looks like it was taken from, I don't know, like a beautiful data viz magazine or something. Yeah. It looks absolutely stunning. Yeah, but indeed. And this, yeah, but this comes especially in contrast with the other entries. I cannot look at it and know immediately what he's trying to say, or yeah, every single piece of data takes a long time to parse, and which is fine. You can spend time with a viz, But actually, I just realized, like, can you click and see other other continents? Because at the top, right under the title, there's Africa, Americas. No, okay. So
I think it's just an effect. It's probably a background page.
Right, yeah.
Because he has all of this written already prepared, like this kind of is already prepared in the background image.
Okay. No, it looks stunning, but I need to spend a lot of time with it and to pick up on all the information. And in the end, I do like the concept of deconstructing misconceptions, but in the end, I had to remind myself, oh, this is what he was trying to show. A lot of things didn't click right away for me, like when you said this is supposed to represent grapes, and only after a while I realized it's actually a gauge chart, and it's also shaped as Africa. And so it's very stunning. It's amazing once you like realize all these things, but you need to spend time with it. Which is in contrast with the other two entries. So if we go to Kimberly's entry, the first one you mentioned, I agree with you. I find it beautiful how much she scoped it, how neat, how clean it is. You immediately understand the message, and I'm a sucker for like simple stuff, and there's nothing complicated here. It's double axis bar charts, right?
It's very stunning visualizations with very simple data sets.
Yes, so I give her so much credit for just like, we're gonna tone it all down, and the message is the message is so, and I personally struggle to do that, because when they have so much data, right, and you have this urge to show it all. This is so neat, and it's very personal, so it's even nicer. This one is amazing. I love how simple it is. And it immediately, as you showed it to me, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. This is it. Okay, so I absolutely love that. And then we have Sutton, the second one you talked about, which I think
load. Sorry. Go ahead.
Which is cool, because it kind of is truly in between both of them, right? It does a bit more work. In the sense that is not as clean, and there's the animations, and I've always enjoyed the representation of, like, literally, here's the population if we were 100 people. I enjoyed these representations a lot. So, and the animations make it, it's very visual. And I certainly enjoy the animation part, because, for example, the third entry, CJ's entry, is in a sense a bit static, which is a shame with Tableau. I always enjoy the fact that you can interact with your dashboards. It shouldn't be something static, right? The only thing is, at some point, so I think it's the next viz where he focuses. I love the idea of focusing on 3 stories, but I immediately, all I saw was like a lot of text, and I was like, okay, what is exactly being shown in each one? So after like the very simple viz, moving to this one, I was like, okay, I need to spend a bit more time with this one. So it put me a little off, I guess. If that's even now, for example, what is so on the graph on the left, the purple line is for India. We're looking at growth in GDP throughout the years. And what's the gray line? Is it the rest of the world?
No, you're right. I found this slide a bit difficult. These are countries, so he has handpicked them to have below average literacy rate, and that did not improve during this period. So he's specifically choosing these countries. I do find it almost superfluous. Because to me, you're taking the bottom 7, but you could also have taken the top 7.
The top 7
doesn't mean anything. What I like the message is, which nearly doubled the GDP over the 10 years. This is what,
Yes, I agree.
This is what I'm looking for. The gray graph, I'm not really looking for them.
I agree. Then it should have probably just been removed. But so yes, I think those are the main things I was thinking about as you were speaking. I mean, but overall, yeah, all three of them are amazing. I'm always stunned that, yeah, whenever you do these things, it's like you learn more things in Tableau, and
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, seeing people push the boundaries of what they do, they're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. You want me to share the winners?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, oops. Okay. These are the results. So Will Sutton won the first prize, and the second place went to Kimberly, and the third place went to CJ. And yeah, I think I agree with the decision this time. Although between Will and Kimberly, I was very divided. I think Kimberly has the simplicity of it, and the presentation from the entry from Will is just stunning. What he did with a two-dimensional graph, it's like,
yes, yeah.
So,
yeah, I agree. Kimberly's is like, it's so pure, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I think I like this because it strikes. I like Will's because it's what I said. It strikes a good balance between both.
Yeah.
And I do think using the pages feature is nice. We encourage interacting with your dashboards, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. So I guess we both agree with the results of this year.
We did this year. We did agree. Yes, it's not always the case.
All right.
All right.
So unless we have any questions, I think we should.
I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, and expect to hear from us. We will send you the recording and the relevant links if you are interested in looking yourself at the entries. They are available on Tableau Public, and you can just download and play with them and try just to look at in detail at the tricks used by the three winners. I would say congratulations to them, and thank you again. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.